don't go out and say, "Hi, I'm a minister. I'm here to meet your needs. Fix your whatever in your house or whatever kind of service they offer." But it's the spirit in that we operate, right? And so the dynamic that you come from a background of a very niche industry is sign language interpretation and education. Right. And so I'm curious as to how you got started in that. And I know you've done some other things as well. And so I'm just curious. So how did you get started in that?
Well, so it started actually with a relationship, a friend of mine who, well, he wasn't a friend at the time, but I was 13 years old. He was in my apartment complex. We were living in an apartment at the time. So, all the kids in the apartment at that time, we would all know when somebody new came to the complex.
Sure.
And we'd say, like, do they have kids? How old are their kids? We want to know their kids, hang out with their kids.
Yeah.
It was very community kind of oriented, this apartment complex. And so new family moves in. They have a son and a daughter. We're like, cool, we're going to go meet these new kids and be friends with them. So we go to meet them, but they're both deaf, both the boy and the boy and the girl, deaf, about my same age, 12, 13 years old at that time. And so most of my friends in the apartment complex just kind of, okay, whatever, moved on. And I was like, I think my sister's got a sign language book.
I think we all had one of those books back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
In the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all had one of those books.
I'm going to go look at that book and learn some signs and go. So anyway, I started there, learned some signs. So started interacting with him and just really was relational motivation. I wanted to know him. I wanted to communicate with him, want to connect with him, talk to him, hang out with him. And so that was the starting point of learning the language. Had no idea, no plans in 1,000 years I'd do it as a career, as a profession. Didn't foresee that coming at all.
What did you want to do when you were 13 years old?
So I had no idea.
Okay.
I mean, play basketball.
Be the next Michael Jordan?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't remember.
White Men Can Jump.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a movie.
That was a movie.
Woody Harrelson. It did inspire me that I could. I still couldn't reach the rim, though.
I couldn't either.
I had a vertical issue. I just wasn't tall enough.
Same. I think we're about the same height. So, yeah, same issue. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But that kind of started the journey. And then the deaf community is very small. So you meet, because they're just a small, tight-knit, not a lot of people obviously know sign language. So when they come across somebody who knows sign language, especially somebody who's not deaf, they're like, oh, cool, I want to know you. So, so that just kind of started. I mean, I was living regular life, all the other things, but then I just kept meeting more deaf people and hanging out with deaf people. So anyway, fast forward from whatever year that was to 2006. At that time, now I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. I had gone to college at Oral Roberts University. Okay. I was studying pastoral care. Yeah, which I now do.
Interesting.
Many years later now.
Wow.
I'm doing that. But anyway, studied that, was studying that at ORU, and was working at the same time. And here's the thing, really, is one of the things about my life that has kind of been a marker for me has been helping people. I love to help people.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I love people. I love connecting with people. I'm a very relational kind of guy. And so even before I started doing sign language on a professional level, most of the careers and things I would choose to do involved people, helping people, et cetera. So I worked with people with disabilities for several years, people in group homes, and really enjoyed it. Just loved it. Just loved helping people. And it's just something I knew I had in me. And so as I was finishing up my degree at ORU, working part-time, was about to graduate, and I was attending a deaf church in Tulsa for a couple of years. So the pastor was deaf. His wife was hearing. She was a sign language interpreter. He was deaf, though, so all the sermons are in sign language. I mean, he's, you show up, and the whole place is silent.
Wow.
It's just like, he's just signing.
How did you read that? Were you able to interpret it?
Yeah.
You would be able to read it?
Yeah. I was, like, by that time, this was from 13 to 24.
Okay.
I had been kind of learning more, increasing my language proficiency, so I could just sit in the service and take it in sign language.
Would they have, would there be music?
They did have music because they did have other hearing people that knew sign language that went, and so I think they did it kind of for their
for
their advantage.
For the participants, yes.
But it wasn't a band; they would just like play a CD or something.
I need to say something. When we first moved to Corpus Christi, Megan and I and the girls, we had 3 older girls at the time, we were just church visiting and trying to find a good, we really did not fully understand the demographic of Corpus Christi when we moved here.
Yeah.
But for those of you who don't know, Corpus Christi's got about a 60% Hispanic population.
Yeah.
And so Caucasian descent is like, I think, 18%. And so when the neighborhood we moved to, we were visiting churches in that area, and the majority of them were all Spanish-speaking churches.
Wow.
And so it's hilarious for us coming from New York, where, I mean, you have the multitude of nations, but majority of things were done in English. And so we walk in, they're like, "Oh, hi," or "Hola, ¿cómo están?" I'm like, "Hi, what is this?"
No habla.
No habla. I didn't even know that. I now understand job site Spanish. But they said, "Oh, no problem. We have interpreters for you. We can interpret for you."
Oh, you put in.
They actually
earphones?
did interpret for us. The Spanish service took place, and then there was a lady speaking in English interpreting for us. It was amazing.
Yeah, and
that was a cultural
Yeah.
experience coming to Corpus Christi.
Yeah.